if you've played Apex for a while, you probably own many items, and most of the items that are released eventually return, but some items are straight up impossible to obtain or will never come back to the game again. So let's talk about a pose that only one person has, the best skin that you will never own, and many more impossible items. But starting off, there's one set of items that you can only get in Apex if you get a job. And these are the items rewarded to people who become developers of Apex. Apex developers don't only get a badge, which you've probably heard about or even seen by now, but they also get rewarded a charm that has the developer badge on it, and also a developer holo spray. So Apex developers definitely have a few items that they can flex. And I guess you can steal one of these items temporarily. If you kill a developer and pick up the weapon they have the dev charm on. That's definitely very rare to find. Moving on though, you may be aware that Apex has a collection of really cool skins that were once free but now can never ever be obtained again, legally. As from 2019 to around 2023, Apex Legends and Twitch Prime had a partnership where if you had a Twitch Prime subscription, every single season you could redeem 2 free skins through that Twitch Prime subscription, which you could use in Apex. And because of the terms of the contract that Twitch Prime and Apex had, these skins cannot be given out beyond the Twitch Prime promotion. So there are several years of really awesome skins that are just totally unobtainable now. Some of the fan favorites are this Watson Unicorn skin, also this Pathfinder Omega Point skin, which is one of the rarest skins in Apex ever, also this Bloodhound skin, and many more. We don't know why Apex and Twitch Prime stops the partnership where they released skins together, although their partnership is not entirely dead, as within the last few years, you could occasionally get some free Apex packs through your Twitch Prime subscription. There's one skin though, which is literally impossible to obtain in game, but Respawn keep teasing, and this season the teasing's got really bad, as the Voidwalker skin has many recolors. And no wonder, it's a fan favorite. But Respawn have one unreleased recolor that they've had sitting around for years, and they just keep teasing it but never release it. And this recolor is called Warpatch. It's essentially the Voidwalker but blue, but not this blue Voidwalker. Yes, it's very confusing. And Respawn have the skin finished, but they just haven't released it. This skin has been in early access builds, it's also been in promotional screenshots of new LTMs Respawn are releasing, but most egregiously, if you check the Voidwalker select animation preview video, they note that this select animation here is compatible with the Warpatch skin, which is a skin they haven't released and they've just been teasing for years. I don't know Respawn's game, but it's definitely a really good troll. A common trend though with items in Apex that will never be released again is the fact that most of these items are collaboration items. For example, all of the items from the past 2 monster collaborations are never going to return again, like the infamous monster badges and also the monster trackers and monster skins. None of the charms that are crossovers with existing EA games have ever returned back to the game, and also nearly 6 seasons later, none of the post Malone skins have even had a hint of returning to the game. And this is because they are iconic rarity, which means they're crossover skins. And when looking on the Apex frequently asked questions page, Respawn say that iconic rarity is a cosmetic rarity used to indicate certain cosmetics that are associated with partnerships or special events. Some iconic cosmetics will only be available during the event period, while others may return at a later date. And when looking at the bigger picture, the only iconic items that have returned are the Final Fantasy items, when Respawn just added the Final Fantasy event back. And it seems they had to get permission from Square Enix to do this. So it brings into question if the Post Malone items or even the Final Fantasy items, including the heirloom, will ever come back. One thing that I'm pretty sure won't come back are the 3 secret trackers you may have if you played Apex before Season 17. As a few years ago, Respawn were experimenting with putting mini-games into the firing range. There were 3 mini-games: Scout of Action, where you had to shoot the most targets with a scout in a limited time, Jackson's Bow Out, which was similar but with a bow, and also Smoke Show, where you had to get kills with a thermal P2020 through smoke, which is definitely impossible now. Unfortunately though, these 3 minigames were just totally removed when the firing range got updated to look like this, which meant these 3 trackers were no longer obtainable, and also the 3 tracker arts that came with them were also no longer obtainable and will likely never be obtainable again. So you might want to flex these because I guess they're getting rarer by the day. It's great because we all love free items, right? And it turns out Apex gives away a lot of really cool small little free items if you watch their ALGS streams. They always have a Twitch drop going out, which will give you a small exclusive charm, sticker, or maybe holo spray. And they've been giving these items away through Twitch drops for 5 years now. But the first set of Twitch drops were the most unique, because first of all, Respawn were experimenting, trying to figure out what were the best Twitch drops to make, and also these first items weren't very well known as people didn't know Respawn were doing Twitch drops. But I did, which led me to get some really cool items. The items that dropped in the first set of Apex Twitch drops ever were this badge, which was Mirage exclusive, this pose, which was Mirage exclusive, this banner frame, which was Mirage exclusive, and also this tracker, which was also Mirage exclusive. You could earn all of these by watching several hours of the 2020 Winter ALGS. And, as with all Twitch drops, they've never returned to the game. Although at some point a few years ago there was an issue where Respawn removed these items from people's accounts and they had to fight to get them back. But I always get asked, what is that badge? Because so many people don't know about it. It's a niche Twitch drop from 5 years ago, when many people didn't even know Apex had Twitch drops. By the way, the badge is only equipped by 0.003% of players. An item rarer to see than this, and also completely impossible to obtain though, is the Thinking Ahead Bangalore pose. This pose right here is literally impossible to get and can only be seen in one place in the game. Over on Kings Canyon, if you kill a flyer, there's a chance they drop a death box from an Apex developer, and when looking at this death box, the developer has a weird Bangalore pose that you may not recognize, and that's because it's not available to you and me, but it seems this developer is the only person that owns this pose. The only other place we've ever seen this pose used, besides this developer's death box, is in a tiny bit of promotional art for the Bangalore edition, which technically no longer exists also. So this is a very rare item because probably one person has it. Another rare item that nobody has and only one person owned for a very short amount of time is this Lifeline recolor, where she's wearing a beautiful yellow jacket. This skin here is a recolor of one of Lifeline's base skins, and it's been in the files since the very early days of Apex, but Respawn have never ever released it. Hell, they even used it in some of the early Apex trailers, but still have never released it. And the only way we've been able to see it in game is through glitches where we can only temporarily obtain this skin. So this might just be the rarest skin of all time, because it technically was owned by one person for the short amount of time they had this glitch activated. But let me flex one more time, because I also own an item which is probably going to be unobtainable for the rest of Apex's future, as during the 2022 ALGS, Respawn released these banner frames, which were all uniquely based around teams participating in the ALGS. You could pick any of these up, and many people did, because it allowed you to show support for the teams. While the store was active, I picked up the Cloud9 banner, and then after the store ended, Respawn never released these banner frames again. And these are basically never ever going to come back again, because half of the teams who had banner frames in this store don't even have Apex teams anymore, including Cloud9. So a very rare little banner here of an esports team that isn't even participating in Apex, and you might own one of these. Still, I wish Apex did more esports team related stuff within their game. I would love this team as a banner frame. But do you have any of these now impossible to obtain skins? And subscribe if you want more of this.